Morning. This is day 2, and I want to show you what it looked like dry. So, some things that I really liked yesterday we lost in the drying process. After about 30 minutes, 20 minutes you can work wet. 10 minutes you can coax a wet over a dry. And this is all relative to how hot the temperature is in your room. But after that, the paint has skimmed on top, and you really can't, you can scrape it off and start again, but you really can't manipulate once it's skimmed. Believe me, I've tried. And so come back, Doug, and show her the picture again. So for me, everything is the picture. It never turns out exactly like the picture, but this is my inspiration. So I've already pulled the colors that I'm gonna work with today. But the first thing to do is work in the shadow. And shadows are some of the hardest because we really don't have a color that's called shadow. So it's just your darkest black to brown to red, deep wine, some navy if you really want to punch it up, or purple will make a cave look amazing. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to start with black because that's a great way to finish off an edge. And if you can see in the picture, this side, the mountain goes all the way off the page. This side, it does not. So I'm going to come down, leave a little bit of this, probably right there, and just mark the height. No, I have to poke my holes. Other colors will run off of it as we need it, but it makes a nice base. And it goes all the way through the midground. Okay, so then, no blue sky is down in there. So here you go into true, honest to God pouring. And you can see that is, what, Doug, a fourth of the painting is that mountain. If I cut it in half, it's right there. If I cut it in half again, it's probably right there. So not quite 4, but
that's good.
And I'm not going I'm not going up to the top. I told you I was going to start right here, and I am, but the light is, it's hard to see, but the light, there really is definition of that cap, and that's what I want. So it just really helps the eye if you can see a little something. So I'm using my rich red brown, and I'm just placing it here. And I'm going to add this dark wine. And one thing to remember is don't scrape the paint underneath. You can lay it on the thing, but if that bubbles, you're going to have lifting of the undercolor, and you don't want that. It doesn't hold up. Okay, I'm going to get just for a tiny bit. Bounce. Okay, now we're ready. You can already see the cells are starting to mix together. And that's just great. So now I'm painting with my trying to leave that cap at the top with that little bit of highlight. And everywhere there's a change in elevation, I try to bring black in to make it that weathered
There we get the reflection.
reflection of the
Just the light off of the
paint.
paint.
Okay, so okay, so there's the bottom of my butte. I'm just moving this paint over. I've got a shadow that's got to go all the way across the valley, but I really can't put that in now. So what I'm trying to do is just thin my paint edges. So I'm gonna let the magic happen. But the bottom shadow, this part right here, I'm again just putting that base layer in. Who knows, I might really like it and it stays, but if it'll be thin enough to overpaint if it's not. And some of these I got too heavy-handed with, and so they start to lose their straight lines. And I don't care if they curve down, because I figure erosion isn't always totally perpendicular. But I don't want them to, see that went to a curlicue. I really don't want the curlicue. I want the magic, but I want the magic the way I want the magic. So there's one place right here at the bottom that looks to me like there's a cave, and I had too much brown. And so I just want to fill that in. And because we're dealing with liquids, I really had a lot of that dark brown, didn't I? It's not the way I would have done it, but I try not, if the paint really wants to do something, I try to let it. Unless I'm going to disappear it. If it wants to flow, I try to let it. Okay, so that's the Shadow Mountain. That really isn't as much in a shadow as I wanted, but I wonder why. Probably should use this brick red right here. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, all it's going to do is just make another contrast for the purple. And we're going to take that all the way up. Not high, not getting into that ivory that I like so much, but that edge that caught the morning sun. That's fine. That's fine. And all those rules from yesterday about keeping your thing clean and blah, 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 that's really important. And I think I've got to do this because I think it's going to show. You can, no, I can't get it out. Later.
Turn it into a bird.
No. Later you can come back and match the blue to something that fails. Okay, so now we're going to start this second mountain. And the reason we can do that is because this mountain and this mountain don't touch. So we'll come back later after they're dry and do this pour. But right now I can get the Butte. This is called Camel's Butte in Monument Valley. So that's it. So let me just bring this down a little bit more. Looks like I'm defeating gravity. Gravity. Okay, that's better. Sometimes you're working from one level and you walk away and you go, why is everything tilted? It's because it's easy to do. Okay, all right. With a clean stylus and a clean paper towel, we're going to work on this next, the beginning of Camel Butte. Okay, so what we're going to do is there is a tiny, this is the entrance to another valley behind here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start. And I work about a hand width at a time because I get the paint enough. And so, and this is okay. Let's see if I overflowed. Sometimes that sure happens. But I want to get over there. It's probably stupid. Stay. I have too much paint. Way too much. great, but not horrible. And then we have to leave that space, and then I have to come really up here because I've screwed up the height of my buttes, but I don't care. And I know I'm making a mess. It's okay. Now I know it looks like I'm not doing any highlights, and I'm really just still working base color, remember. I'll come back and do the if I don't let it set a little bit, the highlights just, the lightest color just disappears. This is crooked. I need to set that first. I don't know why everything's flowing so fast out of my nozzles this morning. Of course, it's cooler, but before I go too much farther, I better go back and put in the, it's not dry yet. You want enough so that it'll mix, but not so much that it doesn't look like a light. Okay, I've ruined it. I never have anybody watch me. And there's this sticks out, and this sticks out, but it isn't sticking out right now, but it will. I hope. I need a little rag. And it's just starting to gel enough that I can do that. And then, of course, there's always the danger that it'll disappear. But when you just want it to flare a little bit, it's going to disappear. We'll see. Okay, so this goes up higher because then we've got shadows. I might not get that side mountain in at all. And then this is deep, but not that deep. And it has a long skinny cave. Did I mention that I'm always looking at my picture and figuring how I failed? So one, two, three. I'm here, which I've kind of not done as good as I should have, but I'm just gonna put a dot. I'm gonna make this bigger. Gonna lose it. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. And if it's catching the face of the sun, like that big one is, then it has to be farther out. It has to be extra. Now that I've got it on, okay, a little black on this side. And some purple because that's the other side of the shadow. And I don't want it to look the same. Little scoochy over there. But this. And that top is going to round. Because it's catching a little bit of the sun. So the next one is going to go to red because it's still in this. And then orange. Okay. Let's try to get them out in shape. And that last part's in shadow. You can use your extra paint so that you're not always taking it off like I have been in this particular one. That's a really good thing to do. This really starts, the cave starts at the bottom. use that. I don't want it to be too late. Might be. It's fine. Just a hint. I had a gnat in my painting yesterday, the one I finished. Came back and there was that bug. And I put the lid on. I don't know how it got in there. So I really only got to there. That's okay. I will come back and put in this cliff right on top of that edge when I do the next level. Starting to skin, but I'm able to pull some out. Oh, sorry. I'll lose some of that, but the colors get muddy so easy. Let me move it. I lost all the purple. I really wanted that. I've got it here in the tailing. That's where the blue's showing through. Not the purple. Okay, now I've lost this edge. One of the most important ones. Okay, that's it. I'm a mess. So, kind of frustrating some days when it just doesn't flow the way you want it to, but sometimes the magic happens, and so we'll see tomorrow. So, thanks for hanging in this far if you have. Talk to you later. Bye.